Hi, Grandpa Dave here. Thanks for watching my videos. We're talking about the firebug ears. I think we'll end off with this story coming up, so if you want to hear it, stay tuned.
Story, the firebug ears.
Yeah.
Those are very interesting and funny. So what other fire stories do you have?
Well, one of them is truly not my fault, though it's probably the biggest one. Maybe I should build up to that a little bit.
Yeah.
So, as you know, the old house, Dad built a house 3 blocks up the street, and the old house was turned into a printing shop. We'd add on and add on and add on and add on. Because the picture you showed with the porch, all that behind there was added on. That wasn't there before. That was just field or grass, whatever. So this is one of those times he was adding on. He'd bring more equipment in, hire new people. The company kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. My dad was kind of fond of several things. One of them was battleship gray. Ugliest color on earth. But all the tables and stuff had to be battleship gray. And all the walls were this greenish, bluish color that he somehow liked. It's probably paint that somebody didn't want, so he got it real cheap. It doesn't matter. So anyway, this is one of those times that at work, I still living at home. I think I was probably maybe 13, maybe 14. I don't recall how old I was, but Dad had this van. I think it was a Dodge van. It was a blue Dodge van. And he always complained about this stupid thing. It was always breaking down. He's having a hard time with it. He'd take it to this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, and they get it running a little bit okay. Well, he went on this trip to pick up some equipment. Now, I don't know where he went. He'd often go on these long trips and drag a trailer around to pick up some new equipment and whatnot. And he was at this far out place, like one of these places where there's a gas station and a hotel, maybe a restaurant or something. And the van had said, "No more. I'm not going any further. I am done." And he took it to the mechanic. The mechanic says, let me look at it. Anyway, so a day or two went by. Dad stayed at the hotel. And the mechanic found the problem. It was a crack in the block. And he fixed it. He welded it and did a good job. That van ran like a champ. I mean, Dad was so happy with how that thing ran. He was so happy with it. So we go back to the shop. So this particular day, to congratulate or just thank his employees for their hard work, because we were taking out all kinds of stuff. We're going to haul this garbage out, so he had the van full of papers and stuff that somebody was going to drive down to the garbage dump. Well, Dad had brought down a charcoal grill. Well, I was doing what a kid my age could do. They were trying to teach me the trade a little bit, so one thing he was teaching me was a paintbrush. And I was painting things, that battleship gray. You see battleship gray, you've seen it forever. Gray, gray, gray. Anyway, there was a wall, so the house went this way, a wall going this way, and they had a garage door that went up that had some windows in it. And then we had a big bin for garbage sitting out there. Well, the bin wasn't there at the time, but he had the van pullbacks as we were loading all this stuff in there they're going to haul away. So that day he started the charcoal and he cooked us all hamburgers. Everybody was happy. It was a good time. It was about a little noonish, that kind of thing, and we were enjoying it, having a good time, which my dad often did. He was like one of those employers that y'all look for. He always did stuff for his employees. He gave them parties. He just went the extra mile. Great guy. Anyway, so the barbecue was over, and 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock come on. About 2:30, he says, "Hey, get out there and put that charcoal thing in the van." Okay. I did myself. I'm always do what I'm told. Yes, sir. I'll take that there charcoal thing and I'll throw it in the van. Job done. Go back to painting. There we go. So I'm painting that there, and I'm painting and painting and painting. And they're all doing stuff like that in the background. My brother-in-law's there, and my dad's doing this, and these other guys are doing everything. And I'm painting, and then I hear this. Psh! Remember that sound from when I was throwing those rocks at the blacksmith shop? Yeah, like the glass going. God, I was thinking, oh man, I bet you some kids are out there messing around. I bet they're breaking stuff out in the back. I'm going to sneak around. So there's a door on the side, and this door, I come around real careful because I was going to catch them, right? You know how the old commando moves. And I come around that corner, and I looked, no kids. But there was flames coming out of my dad's van. You remember the one they had a hard time with and finally somebody fixed? Yeah, well, there's flames coming up, and it's coming out. And all the windows are broken out, and there's flames coming around. The blue van started to change color. It's going into this brownish, reddish color, and it's just like crazy. Oh my gosh, I mean, I'm in deep doo-doo because I think I figured out what happened. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So then I come back through and says, Dad, the van's on fire, the van's on fire. And everybody's running around. My brother-in-law, we had all these fire extinguishers. My brother's out there, brother-in-law's out there just squirting them into the van, one after another, after another, after another. Nothing. Call the fire department. The fire department's coming. Well, a crowd is gathering across the street. So we have the building here, we have this here, and the driveway going out. And we have all these people just looking at this carnage happening. And the fire department comes and says, oh my gosh, the van's on fire. It'll explode. Pull it out. So they pull it out, and they pull it out, they pull it out. And I'm sitting there in a real panic because I think I know what caused the fire, but I'm not going to tell you yet. You probably figured it out, and I don't care. You let me tell you. So anyway, so it's going on. It's going on. I'm upset. Oh my gosh, my dad's van's on fire. My dad. Well, I went over to join these other people. I'm sitting over there, and the fire department's getting it put out. His once beautiful blue van is now black, charcoal black, and it's still smoked. The building was okay because they pulled it away. It didn't explode. It was a good thing. They said the only reason it didn't explode is because the gas tank was full, so there was no real room for oxygen. And you know what I don't know, I'm not a chemistry expert. It didn't explode. So it's sitting there burning, and I'm thinking, okay, excuses. What can I say? How do I get out of this? And to my horror, on my right side, I could feel a presence. And I felt the cold chill of certain death. There, next to me, was my father, my dad. I glanced over because I'd realized what I had done. You see, when he told me to throw the charcoal brick thing in there, he didn't say dump it first. And it never occurred to me that there might be some live coals in there, and the fact that he had all that flammable stuff in there, paper and stuff, didn't occur to me. And I threw it in. So chemistry 101, whatever, how fires start, heat, oxygen, fuel. Anyway, I'm sitting there, okay, I'm going to die. Now, I had the Lammy incident, if you might recall. I relived my life like 10 times because it was such a short life. Well, this is a little bit more life to relive. So I maybe relived my life maybe 4 times. So I'm sitting there, and the people around are thousands of people, the whole city and part of the whole county watching this. At least that's the way it felt. I might exaggerate a little bit. There might have been 20 people there. Doesn't matter. So I'm thinking, okay, you can't kill me. There's witnesses. I look carefully. And he's sitting there with this look on his face. if you knew my dad was a Marine in World War II. And he had this Marine look on his face, which sent even colder chills down my spine. And I looked up to him, and he looked down at me. And I said, maybe I should have dumped the coals before I threw it in. He said, shut up! That was all he said. Well, I was sent home with my mom, and I waited up there in the house. The van's gone. It's a smoldering ember. I heard that shut up, and that really was like, you're going to die soon, son. Go pick out a spot at the cemetery, because it's waiting for you. And I waited, and then I heard the car pull up. It wasn't the van, it was the car. Here it comes. The door opens. Pa-boom, pa-boom, comes my dad. Pa-boom, pa-boom. I looked up at him. He looked away towards Mom. I was sent to bed. Nothing more was said of it. The way I figure it is that because of the accidental nature of the fire and the way things happened, he got a brand new van out of the deal. So he was probably figuring a way to raise my allowance, but we'll never know about that. Well, you know, I did a live a little bit ago, and we were talking a little bit about the Army men fires and stuff, you know, the dirt drip, burn, baby alive and stuff like that. Yeah, that was one of those things, you know, with the fires. There were other fires, but you know, they're not really worth talking about. We used to set a line of gas out in the field there, and we'd herd grasshoppers into it. But you know, that's kind of sick, so I won't really talk about that. But that was just one of those things, you know, with my dad. You just never knew if you were crossing the line with him or not, and I crossed the line a lot, evidently. But yeah, that was probably the last one I want to talk about, the fire years. But I do want to talk about one thing though, about my dad. You recall a story earlier about one of my inventions, you know, the hot dog cooker. You know, he was really impressed by that, and he thought that was really neat. And rightly so. It was Einsteinish of me to develop a hot dog cooker of such magnitude. And they were good hot dogs, you know. You just stick it between that nail, plug it in, that thing just sweat out and cooked, and it just smelled like a gorgeous hot dog. Well, there were two creeks going by our property. You know, the house was here, and there's a creek across the back. And that one wasn't always that full. And the creek on the east side went down across the other side of the house, down through a culvert across the street. Then it dropped off into a nice little deep spot. And that was kind of fun. That creek was we called Spring Creek, but it was more of a runoff creek, you know, the winter runoff, and it would run high up into July. Well, this particular year, they had more volume they could handle, and it washed the road out. So the city come in, they put this brand new culvert, which was about that high, about what, 3 feet? 3 feet by 3 feet, maybe just a little bit bigger. It was a big culvert. I was really impressed. And they got it all fixed. Somehow they diverted the water up above. I have no idea, don't know about how that worked. Anyway, they diverted it. They had taken and put the water back through, fixed the road. So the way it worked, it went across the street, and they'd had this cement thing put in. So the water would come across, hit the cement thing, and it'd divert it this way. And it'd drop off about 5 feet into this deep thing we called the chasm. Now, this is a place you could go when the water wasn't too rough. You'd go play in it, you know, let it up. It was up to here, about here, you know, to us kids. So I'm sitting there with my two friends. One of them is part of the football incident. The other one that whose initials were spelled out in another episode of Shadow Mountain Paranormal. Now you have to look that up, Vaughn's Park episode. But anyway, he was there. And I was watching that water go through there, and it was coming out pretty fast. You couldn't walk across it, pull you right out, drop you on, suck you down for a while. It was high volume water. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, you know, I've done some dumb things in my life. Really dumb things. What if I did something dumber? I'm watching that water go down through that pipe. And there's about that much head space between the water and the base. So 3 foot, so what's that, about 2 feet of water going through, lickety split. I don't know, Mach 12. Jetting through there, I was thinking, you know what? I was thinking this, I didn't say anything. I thought, if we could ride that across? So I was telling my friends, you know, I've got an idea. And they're looking at me like this, you know, like, you're totally stupid. And no. What if I grabbed our little sled that's in the garage? You know, we had like 4 or 5 of these little plastic sleds. And you all know the red ones. You go down the hill on them on your knees, toboggan thingies. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. Now, the water come down, just kind of a little cascade area down there, and there's a little flat area. So you could get into it and hold yourself off by pushing against the culvert like this. And I says, what if we got in there and I kneeled on this toboggan and let go? It'd shoot me through the pipe, wouldn't it? It'd be like one of them things, newfangled things, you know, the tube things, you go down there, the little water park slide things. I says, and you know the fun part is we could like zip over and go into that pool. It'd be like, kind of like a Niagara Falls incident. Wouldn't that be awesome? And my friend's going, yeah, right, you're really stupid. You're going to try that? Are you an idiot? Gosh, yes, I'll try it. I did. So I went out and grabbed a toboggan. My friends are going there. Can we be pallbearers? Don't worry about it. I'll handle it. Well, I'll get in. So I got in the water and I'm pushing against it, against the culvert. And I grabbed the sled and I put it under me. It took a little effort, but you got your weight on it. You could hold it down under. Then I kneeled on it, and the water back up. And it was really hard to push through, and it got to the point of no man's land. And I let go. Boom! Okay, now I'm going through this too. I'm tired of going through my life's, you know, reliving things. Again, another couple of times I relived my life. You know, it's getting shorter by the minute. I'm shooting through that pipe, slicker than snot. All these spider webs and hit me in the faces and going under there. And I get to the point that I didn't take into calculation. There's a wall in front of me, and it takes an abrupt turn to the left. Now, the wall concerned me a little bit, because I could imagine being plastered, you know, kind of like Wile E. Coyote and the other things like that. So I could imagine myself plastered on that, being held against that for the rest of my life by all that water. So I start to be concerned, and I'm grabbing on anything, trying to slow myself down. Yeah, it was too powerful. To my happy glory, I hit that wall, but what it did is it didn't stop me. It swung me this way in a real sharp turn, sending me off and shooting me into the deep pool. There my friends are, expecting a corpse. You know what they found? Another invention that worked. The world's first water slide. That was me. I did that. Yeah, thank you. For all you that enjoy those, that was me. I invented that. There may have been some before that, but not like mine. So they said, I bet you don't dare do that again. Okay, now I'm really in trouble. I was kind of scared from what happened, felt like I was really lucky, so I did it again. Same result, boom. Next thing I know, it's one kid after another going under the street. Phew, 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 phew. We were just having the time of life. We even wore out a couple of those toboggans, you know, tore out the bottom. And then my dad comes home. I was so excited to show him what I'd done. So I grabbed the toboggan and says, Dad, watch. He's standing there and I jump in the water. He says, get out of there. I said, no, let me show you. Oh, you know, the toboggan's disappeared. And I was told that I'd never do that again and that it would kill me and then a monster would eat me or something like that. I can't remember what he said. He said something to the effect of saving your life or something like that. I don't know. Same thing he said when he took my hot dog cooker away. But anyway, that was some of those fun inventions. But you know, there was some. That was a good summer in the sense that I talked about the lawnmower, you know, that Dad had got, and the fun things that had happened with that lawnmower. So I want to go that direction and let the fire go for a while. So stay tuned with me for another series. We're going to talk about the lawnmower. Hello, Grandpa Dave here with some wisdom. Going around the block half a dozen times like I have, you learn certain things about life and health and well-being. And I've never done something in my wisdom about health, so let's go with this one. You know, they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, which is true, especially when you throw it hard enough. Have a good time.